I mean, I'm just going to say it, gals, don't be a hoe. And I can prove this to you right now. A lot of women get so pissed off when I say this. They get so mad. And it's like, yes, there's a double standard. A man can go out and bet a whole bunch of women and he's called a Chad. He's a stud. He's successful. He's admired by other men and even other women, believe it or not. But women can't do the same thing, get away with it. And yeah, that's a double standard. And there's lots of double standards in life between the sexes. Women can have babies, men can't. Men are stronger physically, especially in the upper body. Women aren't. That's just the way things are. Men get paid more in sports because more people watch that shit. Men get paid more in a lot of the jobs that they do because they take on riskier jobs with longer hours that pay more. I.e., I never see fucking chicks on roofs changing roof tiles. I never see chicks on oil rigs in the middle of the fucking North Atlantic. I never see chicks on the fishing boats that are crabbing in the Northern Pacific. I never see chicks in coal mines. A lot of these jobs pay a lot more because they're higher risk, they're longer hours, they're further away from family, and that's why guys get paid more. So there are double standards in life. They're not getting paid more for the same job, by the way, despite what the psychopath third wave feminists are trying to tell women. You have a level 3 employee at CIBC Bank here in Toronto. They all get paid the same fucking range, whatever it is, call it 70 to 80,000. They all get paid the same range for the same level of job. And it's always been that way. Okay. But there are double standards in life. And one of them that women have to accept is that you can't be a hoe, and I'll prove it to you. Okay. I want you to think about this for a second. Every guy throughout history that's ever been married, can you name one, even in your inner circle, in your family, your father, your brothers, your cousins, your in-laws, whoever happens to be, name one guy that you know that's married that's ever said, gee, I wish my wife had fucked 100 more dudes before I got married. Zero guys in history have ever thought that to themselves. Think about that. There might be a handful of cucks out there. They exist. They're weird. But don't go sharing your body with a whole bunch of men. It's like, you buy a new car. It's only new once. Once you drive it off to the lot and it goes through a bunch of owners and the miles rack up on the clock and the warning lights on the dashboard start showing up and maintenance has been put off or ignored by the owners, problems rack up. One of the things you hear a lot of guys talk about, a lot of the top shelf guys out there that make appearances on podcasts or do shows like this, is that they don't want to deal with other people's problems. They don't want to deal with that baggage. They don't want to deal with, like the stories of, well, my last boyfriend hurt me, or my last boyfriend pushed me down the stairs, or there was another one that, cheated on me. And then there was like 3 more that cheated on me, or he was financially abusive and he set a budget that I wouldn't follow, or blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. And a lot of these guys, they also don't want to deal with a gal that's been around the block, right? I mean, I want to put a gal in my 800 horsepower stage 2 tuned fucking 911 Turbo S, and she sits in the car and she's like, fuck, this is amazing. I've never been in a car like this. Not, oh, my last 3 boyfriends had one of these, right? Women think that holding out to other men on social media, that they've traveled the world. You see this a lot on Instagram where it's like, oh, here's a picture of her in front of the Eiffel Tower. Here's a picture of her in Miami. Here's a picture of her at the foam cannon party in Cancun. Here's a picture of her in Thailand at the full moon party. Here's a picture of her on Mount Fuji. Here's a picture of her in front of a dish of saganaki with shrimp in it on Santorini while the sun sets in the background behind the Greek houses with the blue and white, finishing to them. You know what I'm talking about? It's like all of these, and she doesn't have a job. Like she's an esthetician or a beauty consultant or something like that. Like she doesn't have anything that can pay for that. It's dudes that pay for all of that. And with each dude that racks up, there's more baggage and there's more problems and there's more guys. And again, think about it. What guy in history has ever fucking said to themselves, I wish my wife would have banged 100 more chicks before I married her, before she became the mother of my children? Zero. So don't be promiscuous. Once you are, though, and I'm going to shift this a little bit now, once you have created a past for yourself, the next mistake that women make is they keep asking for new car prices, MSRP, on a vehicle that has 300,000 fucking miles and scratches and rust and dings and warning lights on the dashboard. They're still asking for MSRP. They're still asking for full price, not the depreciated value. I'm going to be a little bit more specific. They make guys wait for it. You see this on ladies' night all the time. Oh, I'm 30 whatever, or I'm 29 whatever it happens to be. I'm not going to hop into bed right away. He has to wait 8 months. He has to work for it. He has to, he has to provide 10 luxurious dates for me before I'll even think about it. And guess what, ladies? There's also no man out there, especially if he's on the top shelf, that is willing to pay more for something that other dudes got for free or got at a lower cost. The guy at the full moon party that you banged on the beach, he didn't have to wait for 8 months. But all of a sudden now your strictures change because you've realized that you want to get serious and you've gotten right with God, or it's time to have a family because all of your friends have children and you don't want to be that old gal pushing around your fluffy white dog in a stroller at the park at 38 on a dating app, asking every single guy that messages you, what are you looking for here? Are you ready for a family? Right? That's when you should not be restrictive. You should be restrictive early on. You should be very careful with your beauty and your purity, because that's where women's value lies inherently. It's not in success. It's not in your career. There's no fucking guy in history that's ever looked at your degree on the wall and be like, oh, that's framed in some of the finest mahogany I've ever seen, and that really turns me on, baby. I love those little letters after your name that indicate that you're all this smart and all. No, they look at you in a pair of yoga pants when you're walking away and you're kind of waving at him with your butt as you walk, and he's like, yeah, that's hot, I like that, I'd wear that as a hat. That's what guys look at. They don't care about your accomplishments. And despite, this is one of the other points that I made, is like, a lot of women try to attract these top shelf men by becoming top shelf men themselves, getting degrees, climbing the corporate ladder, putting off family, making money, buying all this shit. And I already got I got everything. Trust me, your car's not cooler than mine. Okay. I don't care about your Tesla or your fucking Mercedes or your BMW or your whatever it is that you got. It doesn't matter. Even if you got it, it ain't as cool as my shit anyway. And on top of that, women don't share their pot of gold with top shelf men anyway, or any guy for that matter. They just don't. Men are success objects to women. These top shelf men are expected by beautiful, young, fertile women to share their resources and their stuff with these gals. That's what they're expected to do. And men, on the other hand, are expecting youth, fertility, beauty, commitment, usefulness in their life, respect, a place of peace and kindness, not disagreeableness and boss girlness and all that sort of stuff. You see these tough bitches, these tough boss girl type of, or bad bitches, or what else are they? What's the other term that I heard the other day? Baddie. What a loser term baddie is. Every single chick I've ever heard use the term baddie to describe themselves is a bad choice for any guy. Seen it time and time again. Seen this movie every single time. It always ends the same way. It's some difficult, disagreeable, obnoxious gal that is basically trying to sell the virtues of success and what men are to men. And a guy that already has all that doesn't need that. What men want is beauty, fertility, purity. That's what they want. That's what they want to select on a long-term basis. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.